you doing? Make sure you tap that screen. Follow me here. Thanks for popping in. Good Sunday morning, sports fans. You know what time it is. It is time to talk a little sports. I am your host, Kendrick, the sports guy. I hope you are having a great weekend, and we are 10 days out from Christmas. So I know a lot of pressure on a lot of people, probably spending a lot of money. But you know what? The best gift you can give is the gift of time. So don't get too caught up in paying and buying all these gifts. Show the ones you love a little bit of time. And speaking of time, show me some time right now. Again, I am Kendrick, the sports guy. Make sure you come in, like this live stream, subscribe to the channel. That's TFG Sports Media, as well as Kendrick Sports Hustle. That's SPORTZ, HUSTLE. And make sure you comment. Don't be in the bushes. Don't be hiding. Let me know you're watching, where you're watching from. And you know the rules. Again, this is Club Kendrick. You got to come in here. You got to comment. And we're going to have a good time. We got a lot to talk about today. And I'm live on TikTok as well. If you want to know, if you see me looking off, that's where I am. I got people already over here TikTok popping off. So again, we're going to go ahead and get to it. And guess what? You know who's here. The general manager of Club Kendrick, my good brother, sports director at KOTV, the ABC affiliate in Tyler, Michael E. Coleman, and the E stands for entertainment. And if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, you'll see what I mean. What's up, Mike? How you doing, brother?
Well, today I'm Tyrone Claus, because that's who came to my house. It wasn't Santa Claus. It was Tyrone Claus that came through bearing gifts. Happy holidays, everybody. I'm doing just fine, my man.
Oh, but man, Mike got on his Santa hat, and he got on the glasses with the Christmas lights. I gotta tell you. Yeah, he's lit. Justin Whitehead, what's going on? He's lit. And he ain't even drunk no dog. What is that? We drinking eggnog.
Eggnog.
He ain't even drunk on the eggnog just yet. But anyway, we're gonna jump right into it, man. Mike, how's Mama Gordon doing? By the way, if you didn't know, my good brother's mother's in town. How's Mama Gordon doing, brother Mike?
She's doing well. We went to the boats on Thursday. She won a little bit of money, even paid me some money back. Said, "Oh, you ain't gotta do that. That's your money."
Right.
And been running around. She said, "Man, y'all just too active for me out here in East Texas." Because we had a few places we went, a couple of parties we went to. So she had a good time. Now she's gonna sit back and watch some football. She's a big football fan. Okay. She's the one that taught me how to play football. You know,
right? That's
and
what's
so
up.
we're gonna watch it together.
My bad. During this show, I'm not going to refer to Michael as Michael Coleman. I forgot. He just said he's Tyrone Claus. So if you hear me saying Tyrone Claus, that is Michael, but not today. He's Tyrone Claus today. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, Mike. We in week 15. We got 3 weeks left in the NFL regular season, and pretty much, man, a lot of these games really don't mean a lot because a couple of these teams have already clinched playoff berths. Now just kind of jockeying for seedings and all that. Let's start off with the noon game. We're gonna start off with your Chiefs, 12-1 at the Browns, 3-10. The Chiefs, again, they find a way to win. Speaking of which, Mike, you went undefeated last week. We'll talk about your picks.
Oh,
you got every one of them right. But again, we'll talk about that here in a few minutes. The Chiefs, 12-1 at the Browns. Again, I don't know what to say about this Chiefs team. I guess they just gonna keep winning like this. What's your thoughts on this team?
You can look at it two ways. Lots of luck. However, you put yourself in position to be lucky, and they find ways to win. If you're going to beat Kansas City, you got to put a bunch of points on the board and hope they can't come up, but you got Patrick Mahomes. That's a dilemma. Don't give the Chiefs the ball last. I don't care how many seconds you're on the clock. They're going to find a way. Now, today, against the Browns, they're 5-point favorites, 4.5. To me, they got to put points on the board just to show that firepower. And I don't mean 5 field goals from their kicker who's coming back, Harrison Butker. No, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about end zone action. You got to put some points on the board, just to show me you can do it. Cleveland, they're a little testy. They're going to test them. But I just think Kansas City got the horses. They've had the horses all year long. They just have not had. I think I heard someone say they're like almost dead last in explosive plays. Now, don't mean you.
That's crazy to think that.
Yeah,
that's
right.
crazy.
Yeah, considering how they spoiled us years ago.
Right.
But they're also proving you don't have to have explosive plays to dominate a game. So it's a little cat and mouse thing because you think the optimum would be to keep Mahomes on the sidelines, but when he comes back out there, if you don't have a 3-score lead, because not even the Chiefs have a 3-score touchdown. So if you don't keep him on the sidelines and it's close, you can't afford to give that ball back to the Kansas City offense.
And I agree with that. And speaking of the offense, Mike, Hollywood Brown, he's back. I don't think he's playing today, but that's another weapon that they'll have back. What do you think he will add to the offense upside of the ball?
Well, he will add that explosiveness that they needed. I mean, the young kid, he hasn't played in so long.
Worthy.
Not him, the kid that had the accident in Dallas.
Rasheed Rice. Yeah.
Rasheed Rice. I mean, he was their guy.
Right.
To be so young. Xavier Worthy is coming into his own. But you and I talked about this weeks ago. You are a whole lot smarter in this case in week 15 than you were in week 3 in terms of or the growth factor in the NFL. So hopefully Worthy has lived up to his last name and will be just that X factor that Rasheed Rice would provide had he be playing and had he be suiting up.
Yeah, so I think, at this point, I think the Chiefs, they want to keep people healthy. Obviously, you don't want to, because you pretty much probably got that AFC West wrapped up, and you definitely got your playoff position wrapped up too. So you just want to go in this game, fine tune some things, because again, the Browns aren't going to go away. I mean, Jameis Winston has proven that he's still a legitimate quarterback in his league.
Yeah. The
Browns have some weapons on the offensive side of the ball,
and they got a defense.
So, this thing is going to the Chiefs should win this game. But again, I think that they should look at this as kind of just a tune-up for the playoffs. And, you don't want to start peaking too early either, in my opinion. So let's move to the Bills at the Lions. I think this is the game that everybody's going to be keeping their eye. Well, one of the other games, the first game, the Bills at the Lions. Bills are 10-3. At the Lions, 12-1. The Lions, they just keep rolling along. And or whoever come over here TikTok talking about them damn Lions, I'm sick of you. I'm getting this off my chest right now. We know the Lions are the Lions, so let me get that out the way. The preliminaries. So Mike, what you think? This Bills coming off, man. That game, that was a crazy game against the Rams, man. I had picked them to win it and got dogged it. They almost came back and won that thing. What's your thoughts on this Bills at Lions matchup?
And that was a good game last week with the Rams. I mean, the Rams, we'll talk more about the Rams probably later, but this game today, now, for the Bills to be who they think they are, how do you bounce back against a formidable opponent like Detroit? Right. This ain't Tennessee. This ain't, Cincinnati. This is the road dog. This is the Detroit Lions, and you're coming off a close loss. And I think I don't even think the game was that close last week. I mean, I know what the points were,
right? But the Rams of the game,
Rams had an answer for everything they threw down. Right. With a high scoring game for 42, 44,
42.
42. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna find out today just what the Buffalo Bills are really made of. There was a time that pretty much the toughest team on their schedule were the Kansas City Chiefs, and they beat them earlier this year. Okay, now you got to beat the front runner, that being the Detroit Lions, and we're going to see what the Lions are about in terms of, okay, you're playing a team like Buffalo, who they've been on the landscape for a while and they just haven't got over that hump. What can you do to puncture their attitude about how far they can go? Let's see what happens today. I think the Lions are much more physical than the Bills.
Than the Bills, and I think so. And I think the thing the Lions do have that the Bills kind of have is, I think, the run game. I think the Lions got that 1-2 punch of Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery. I think that run game is very potent. Obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown they have as well, and Jared Goff has just been that he's been kind of Mr. Joe Cool. You feel me?
No, you're right. I hear you.
He's
No,
been
he has.
very, very steady. He hasn't, outside of that Texans game where I think he threw 5 interceptions or something. Outside of that,
but they still came back and won.
Right. Yeah, they played real steady, So I think this is definitely going to be a great game. It possibly could be a sneak preview at a Super Bowl. I mean, the Bills. The Bills are the Bills got a shot of going to the Super Bowl too, in my opinion.
No, they do. Oh, they most certainly do. They most certainly do. But here's the thing: so they can't afford to lose any more games and hope the KC lose a game or two because the home stadium, home field is going to be key in the AFC.
That's true. That's true, and I agree with you totally on that Tyrone clause. Let's go to the Santa Claus is coming to town. Well, I'm sorry, Tyrone Claus is coming to town. All right, let's get to the other game that I think everybody's definitely going to be watching: the Battle of Pennsylvania. We got the 10-3 Steelers at the 11-2 Eagles. The Steelers are basically trying to widen that gap in that AFC North division. The Eagles, they pretty much got the NFC East wrapped up. This is a battle of Jalen Hurts and the old dog. It's kind of funny calling Russell Wilson the old dog because he still looks young to me. He's the old dog now when you talk about quarterbacks in the league. What's your thoughts on this Steelers at Eagles matchup, Mike?
Well, I do know the Steelers are banged up, but that don't make no difference to Mike Tomlin. It's just next man up always with him.
Right.
This is a tough hill to climb for the Steelers. And let's face it, the state of Pennsylvania hasn't seen a game of this quality, this caliber in quite some time, where their two NFL teams are really strong and they're going to face each other like this. Now the thing about the Eagles, there's infighting. Y'all winning.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's fighting or disagreements or what. If there's ever a time for all that to be squelched, that's going to be today.
Yeah,
that's against a team from across state. Pittsburgh's got all the weapons. They got the longest win streak in their history, and all that stuff, all those bells and whistles. But Sirianni is going to come down between he and Mike Tomlin. And, Tomlin has no fear.
Right.
Tomlin he has withstood everybody saying he should be fired.
Yeah, he's definitely done that.
And Sirianni, he's kind of on eggshells, despite what they've been doing. He's on eggshells, and a lot of that is media-driven, sells newspapers or clickbait. But I think this is going to be a matchup of coaches. I know we'll give our picks later, but I like the coaching matchup between these two guys and how they instruct their teams to go after one another.
Yeah, right. So, and I think this is going to be a big game. I think Jalen Hurts has to show that he can take over a game. I don't think he's really done that this year.
Really hasn't.
Not necessarily you have to do that, but I think you think about his play the year they went to the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts was kind of that dude. I mean,
he was.
He was doing it all, and I think with the addition of Saquon Barkley, that has taken some pressure off of him to have to do as much because Barkley is playing in a whole nother level at this point.
And that's why I don't get you. You brought up a good point. You got Saquon Barkley. Why are y'all, or at least a few of y'all upset with one another? I mean, it's not. This is the ultimate team game. Football is the ultimate, and you're gonna get your catches. You go get your catches.
You're gonna get your touches. You're right.
Just run your route and be there when he needs you to be there. If maybe he being Jalen didn't need you the last few weeks because they've been winning. Well, today might be that day. Just be ready. Better not drop the ball. Do not drop that ball. Literally.
Yeah, just be ready again. So again, those are some of the games that's happening this Sunday. Again, 3 weeks left in the regular season. So Mike, let's get down to it. Let's go ahead and get our picks out the way because we got a lot more to talk about. Let's go ahead and get it. Again, like I said last week, Mike, you went 6-0. Man, my man Mike was undefeated with his picks last week. I went 4-2. My season record right now is 52-32. So I'm still moseying along with my season picks. So let's go ahead and get our picks out the way. Let's start with your Chiefs, 12-1 at the Browns, 3-10. Mike, who you got?
All right. Obviously, I got Kansas City. The score I'm looking for is 31 to 17. 31-17, Kansas City.
All right, and I'm rolling with the Chiefs as well. I think it's a touchdown game. I'm going Chiefs 27-20. All right, we got the second place team in the NFC East, the Washington Commanders at 8-5, at the New Orleans Saints 5-8. Mike, who you got?
Yeah, the Commanders have been quiet lately, so I expect them to rise again. I have them winning this game. I'm going to go 27-13.
Mike is going 27-13 Commanders. I am going Commanders as well, 31-14. All right, let's talk about the Dolphins, 6-7. They've been playing a lot better with Tua Tagovailoa back at the Texans, 8-5. Don't know what to think about this Texans team. Anyway, Mike, who you got?
I'm with you. I don't know what to think about them either. And so I got them losing today because the Tua is hot. And, you know, they are in Miami, but I know they're going to be in a comfortable environment in the Houston stadiums, Houston facility. I'm going to go 23-20. It's going to be a close one, 23-20 Miami.
Mike is going with the Dolphins, 23-20. I'm flipping it, and I'm going almost with the same score. I'm going with the Texans, 24-20. All right, the game we just talked about not too long ago, Mike, the 10-3 Bills at the 12-1 Lions. Who you got?
The Lions are at home. They're comfortable. They're feeling themselves. I'm going to go 27-19. 27-19 Detroit over Buffalo.
Mike is going with those Lions. And as much as it pains me to say this, I am too. I'm going with the Lions 23-18. All right, the Battle of Pennsylvania, what we just talked about, Mike, we got the 10-3 Steelers at the 11-2 Eagles. Who you got?
Man. All right, I'm going to go Philly. I know I don't pumped up Mike and them, but I'm going to go Philly. I'm going to go 21-17. Had Pittsburgh not had not lost the first time around to Cleveland, I might give them the edge. But they had that Cleveland tendency in them to get beat by a Cleveland type of team that I don't think they're able to overcome a team like Philly today. So 21-17. I don't know what I said last time, but 21-17 Eagles.
Yeah, that's what you said. Mike is going with the Eagles 21-17. We almost identical. I'm going with the Eagles 21-18. All right, the last game for the day, the Sunday night game, we got my Green Bay Packers 9-4 at the NFC West leading Seattle Seahawks 8-5. Mike, who you got?
I'm going to go with the Packers. I know they're on the road, the way across on the other part of the country and all that jazz. But, I think Love needs to, be who he is. And I think he'll find his way around that. I get a lot of love, pardon that pun, to Geno Smith. I mean, this guy was he was in the heap, the trash heap years ago. And since he's come back, Pete Carroll brought him back, and though Pete's not there anymore, he's done a pretty good job. I mean, in fact, I heard someone compare a young quarterback to him. I'm like, wow, I ain't never heard nobody compare them compare a quarterback to Geno Smith before.
Right,
Yeah. But I'm gonna go with the Packers. I think they got this one 17-9.
Oh, you going low scoring. Mike is going with my Packers 17-9. I am going with my Packers as well, 31-20. So those were Kendrick's NFL pick six. We got 3 more weeks to do that, and we're going to see what happens. And you know what, Mike? You gave a good segue not too long ago. You was talking about football is the ultimate team game, and it is. And we had a 49er linebacker, Devondre Campbell, who was a former Packer at once before. He decided on Thursday night that he got in his feelings or something, and he said, I ain't going back in because Dre Greenlaw was making his first appearance after having Achilles injury in the Super Bowl, basically 10 months ago. And, man, let me tell you, as of right now, let me give you an update. He has not been cut. Regardless of what you've been reading, he hasn't been cut as of yet. According to what I read, the 49ers are still trying to figure out what they're going to do because if they release him, if he clears waivers, he could get picked up by a playoff team. So it's a cat and mouse thing right now. So they're thinking about suspending him. Mike, what's your thoughts on Devondre Campbell saying, you know what, I ain't going back in. I'm done.
Wasn't there a player for San Francisco when Mike Singletary was coaching who walked off the field? Davis?
No, he didn't walk off. No, Singletary told him to go to the locker room.
Oh, okay. He was given permission.
He was told to get the hell up out of here.
Okay. Well, the thing about football, and not sports, period, it's like the Constitution. Now, we know the Constitution can be breached too. Obviously, we've seen that.
Right.
But there are a set of rules and laws that you adhere to, and you adhere to it for the very first time you're playing sports. Mm-hmm. We're a team. You got to have each other's back. All that stuff. So it wasn't just like it was invented 10 years ago. Throughout everybody's career, sports, it's about being out there. That's why Scottie Pippen. They always bring that up with Scottie Pippen.
Right. Not going in. Refusing to go back in. Yeah.
Not going in. And so the way the Niners are trying to scratch and crawl themselves in, this is a shock to their system. Because I would think, internally, because the game was still hanging in the balance. They still had a shot to win this game. Who knows? Maybe you make the big play, 59. Maybe you that guy who proved, I should have been starting to begin with anyway. Okay, you made your point, and you will start next week. You just can't do that, man. I'm surprised they haven't cut him. I've heard all the possibilities and all the options that could happen. Mm-hmm. But how does he feel about himself? Now, I've heard, who did I hear? Someone tried to justify it. The up on game guys. I know Plaxico was
somebody tried to justify it. How can you? This is one that I can't see how you can justify it.
Well, it's like LeVar Arrington said. He said, "Listen, man. He said he was in a similar situation, but it had nothing to do with football. He got benched because something outside of that."
Yeah.
He said, and somebody started in front of me, and he said, I should have been the one to start. He said, but I can't bail out on my team. Right. We don't went through the blood and the sweat and the tears together in July and August. I can't abandon ship. And that's the mentality you have to have. Sometimes you just gotta suck stuff up. It. He's a veteran too. He's not a young guy.
I'm glad you made that point. This guy was all pro, first team in 2021. He's an 8-year veteran. This dude ain't a rookie, so I'm trying to think of what is his mindset.
Well, eventually we're going to hear from him, whether it be on TMZ or SportsCenter, but probably TMZ first.
No, it'd probably be on his IG Live.
Okay.
You know how that goes.
Okay.
Most players go to their own personal social media accounts.
No, I just didn't agree. Obviously, I don't see any reason why somebody would leave a game unless they got word somebody in the family, something happened to them. There's a lot of leeway there, but there's nothing like that. There's nobody that said anything like that. He was told to go in. I don't want to go in. He's pouting. Like you say, he's all in his feelings. So just not a cool move. I mean, for whatever role model you think you might be to young people, and not that you aren't, that's who you got to explain. You got to explain to the young people that you might be mentoring, because they're scratching their heads right now going, what's going on? You said all this unity, brotherhood stuff and have each other's back, but you went against what you're telling us.
Right.
So that's the biggest, I think, consequence he faces. And it don't make no difference, because it's not going to hurt his pay or nothing. But I'm just saying for young people, most things are not about money. It's about humility and the kind of impression you want to leave on young people by practicing what you preach, if that's the case with him. Now, maybe he's told his kids, if you don't like something, just walk away. Well, if that's the case, then he has no consequences to face with young people.
Yeah. And 234 Sports Talk. Appreciate you popping in on TikTok. Go Pack, go, love that. Gas, who is that? Gas Man, BTC 829. Go Pack, go. Beat them Hawks. I'm with you. And I'd like to know you guys' thoughts on this Devondre Campbell situation out in San Francisco. But this is a deal too, Mike. San Fran, again, they not trying to give this guy an opportunity to hook up with another team because I don't know if another team will want him considering what he did. But I would say this. Emmanuel Acho had a really good segment on this. Because a lot of these players, the 49ers have been through some adversity this year. Ricky Pearsall, their rookie wide receiver, was shot for getting robbed. You had Trent Williams, our own Trent Williams from Longview, East Texas. His wife lost twins.
Yeah.
They had another player, I believe, lost their newborn child that were trying to play. But then you get this guy, he mad because the starter, who is better than he is, comes back and he feel like that he should be in. So I think me personally speaking, and Mike, you played football, you played college football. Would you want a guy like this on your team?
Nah, because he's a sore spot, is what he is. He's it's like, I mean, now maybe confidently behind closed doors, you say, dude, what are you doing? But when you're out there playing, he's the guy that people stay away from.
Yeah.
Because, he's like, dude, I can't trust you. And that's the whole thing. Now you can't trust him.
Right.
You can't trust this guy,
Right.
And I know he was, one of the guys went up on game said, well, if he was all that, he would have been starting in the first place. But the mere fact that Trey was running with the first team, he saw that from when practice began.
Right.
He could have walked out of practice.
Yeah.
And had it resolved before the game. But he walks out the game and say, dude, you saw all this week who was getting some reps.
Who was getting ready to start. Yeah.
At your position.
Yeah.
And now you want to act a fool? Nah,
you could have not suited up. Reruns, how you doing? I know you can't hear them because you have to watch us on TFG Sports Media on YouTube or Facebook. If you want to hear my good brother Tyrone Claus, a.k.a. Michael Coleman, you got to go over to TFG Sports Media on Facebook and YouTube. 234 Sports Talk says you get paid to play, so starter or not, you're under contract. That's from 234 Sports Talk, and you are exactly right.
Yep.
You get a paycheck, so come on, man. Yep. Earn your paycheck. Now, speaking of a young brother that earned his paycheck, and man, this story really is a total opposite of what we just getting ready to talk about. We're talking about Cowboys linebacker DeMarvion Overshown. He is out for the year with a right knee injury. He tore his PCL, ACL, and MCL, and the prognosis is that he may not even be back by the 2025 season.
Yeah.
Mike, your reaction to the loss of this young man from Arp, Texas, which is in East Texas?
Well, we just talked about him a week ago where I got a chance to talk to him because he came home for a few days, and we were, high-fiving him about that big play he made in the Thanksgiving Day game with the Giants, the tip of the ball, the interception all the way in the end zone. He's like, the last 10 yards, I'm trying to decide how am I going to celebrate. Right. And now, it's just like that. Things can flip. Things can flip. It's been because at that time, Monday night, it had been 10 days since they had played. Right. And he was number 2 in terms of tackling on that Cowboys team. And so I feel bad for him, but he's a young warrior. He acknowledges that. And, I don't know if you saw, but there was a DeMarvion Overshown Day in ARP Friday.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. What happened, I did a story on it. And what happened was the next day on Tuesday, one of the teachers created this. And the kids on Friday, they made signs, get well, DeMarvion, we love you, we're praying for you. And they got a chance to visit with him virtually.
Oh, that's cool.
So the kids came up with, give him well wishes. One little girl, she came up and all she said was, we're praying for you. I mean, it was a really good story. And I got a chance to get a question in that I'll use tonight. And what I asked him was, I said, at any time, I knew what the answer was going to be. Mm-hmm. But I needed some space to kill tonight, so I thought this would be a good question to ask. I said, at any time, are you thinking, we know what happened last year, and now Monday night, are you thinking, why me? He said, no, I don't think that way. And, he had a great answer for that as to why. Because in his mind, he's playing in the NFL. That's not a why me question, That's not a why me question, so why anything else I get is gravy. So he gets a chance to, as he said, I get a chance to rehab and come back better and stronger than ever. So he's the kind of guy I think DeMarvion is in the short term he's been there in the pros, where you don't have any question, because we know what his ability is. You don't have any issue about re-signing this guy, but he's been hurt. That won't even be an argument.
Yeah,
that won't, because of his warrior attitude on coming back.
Right.
So yeah, he gets hurt, but look how hard he works to come back, to get back into the game. It's like Adrian Peterson.
Right.
Adrian later in his career, although it was later than earlier, but Adrian would get beat up and he'd be right back, the next year doing his thing. I mean, he was just a beast. So again, I love the Beast Texas athletes out here because I really believe there's something different about this. It's intangible. You ain't gonna put your finger on it or nothing like that, but there's just something about the athletes in this part of the country, this part of the state, that is that extra whatever that money cannot buy.
Yeah, I agree. So we definitely send him prayers to DeMarvion Overshawn. He started 12 games this season. He appeared in all 14. Again, like Mike said, he had 90 tackles, 5 sacks, an interception, interception that he tipped to himself, ran it back for a touchdown, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. And oh, by the way, not only did they lose him, they also lost Trevon Diggs, Cowboys cornerback. He is done for the season. He's going to have knee surgery on the knee as well. They got Zach Martin is out for the season. This Cowboys team, if anything bad could have happened this year for this team, it has. This
oh yeah,
it has been one of those years for the Cowboys.
Since Diggs signed that big deal, he hasn't played a complete season since.
Nope, I thought about that today. He sure haven't. So there you have it. Again, we sending a shout out, hopefully, speedy recovery to the talented DeMarvion Overshawn. Now let's move. Let's go to college, to something that me and Mike, we didn't think was gonna happen, but boy, were we wrong. Bill Belichick, the 6-time winning Super Bowl head coach of the Patriots, he is headed to North Carolina. He will take over the Tar Heels program. He signed a 5-year deal. According to The Athletic, it's really a 3-year deal. It's going to be $10 million per season. And he had one stipulation, that he wanted his son, Stephen Belichick, who's the defensive coordinator at Washington, to be the coach in waiting once he decides to step down from North Carolina. Mike, your thoughts on this hiring that shocked the world?
Well, first of all, if they were to get a new administration, he's like, I'm not going with that contract. I wasn't here when we signed it. So let's understand that first of all. Right. It's a curious move. I even heard someone say they need to rename the city Chapel Bill. I said, that's pretty good.
That's pretty
Chapel
good,
Bill, North Carolina. But we know he can coach.
Yeah,
we know he can coach, and and folks have said, commentators have talked about how on television he's been really good. He's loosened up. He showed his personality, and maybe that's the kind of personality he needs to show when he's coaching and recruiting these young kids. Coaching, I don't have a problem. He's going to coach circles around some of these coaches in that in the collegiate level that they face. What's his temperament going to be? What's his patience going to be? I remember, my athletic director, I love saying this, was the late, great Gale Sayers. Love me some Gale Sayers. And my junior college football coach was a coach at Kansas, and Sayers was a junior varsity coach when they had junior varsity in college. And Sayers was his running back coach. Yeah. And Sayers, my coach, my guy told me, he said Sayers wasn't a very good coach, because he thinks everybody has his level of talent. Mm-hmm. If the kid made a wrong cut in practice, he would berate this kid. He's saying, listen, man, you ain't coaching Gale Sayers. You're Gale Sayers trying to coach other guys. And I think you can apply that to Bill Belichick. Hey, listen, he's not a 6th-round draft pick out of Michigan. This is a kid who's trying to learn the game.
17, 18, 19 years old. Yeah.
You got, and I know they're making money now, but that money still does not separate, or it does separate the youthfulness, the immaturity, and the self-doubt. Because these guys are making money, but they still got little issues that when they weren't making money, they were going to have. And he's going to understand that and be patient with that, and have a staff, including his son. His son would probably have a better understanding than him, because he's young, obviously.
Right.
So I think, gets the right coaches on staff, and he could have an all NFL coach. I do like the idea that he said he'll run it like an NFL team in terms of being a pipeline.
Right.
And there are going to be kids who are going to play for Bill Belichick, but be careful what you ask for. The true test is going to be after his first 2 years, how many kids got into the transfer portal.
Right, and then I think that's the one thing he's gonna not that the transfer portal probably won't be a big adjustment. I want to acknowledge T3 23 Sports says that his dad. I heard his dad coached there before.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. His dad did back in I think 52 to 54. He did. But I think the transfer portal is probably going to be something he can adjust to because it's similar to free agency at the NFL level. Right. So I think that won't be that big adjustment for him. I just think the NIL situation, again, that's going to be an adjustment because you got these 17, 18, 19-year-old kids making money, and some of them probably going to be making money than some of his assistant coaches. So how are you going to be able to, he's 72 years old, Bill old school, the Patriots.
Well, and
are you going to be able to do that? You're going to have to adjust that a little bit.
A point was made. I thought, okay, I can see that. That their point was, now, you don't think Belichick went into this game not prepared or went to this move without not be prepared. He might have a bunch of business folks and corporations who are in with Belichick to come on board with him in North Carolina when it comes to the NIL. Right. So he could come with a bag of cash and decide how he wants to disperse it among his players. It's going to be real interesting because another thing, he's going to be in the public more. College coaches have to go out and raise money. They got to go to functions. They got to go speak and talk and all that. And he has to show that he wants to do that, but that's going to be a part of his schedule too.
Yeah, recruiting. I mean, he's going to have to. A little.
That was good, and that was the best thing about Mac Brown. Mm-hmm. You and I both met Mac Brown years ago.
We talked about that last week. Yeah,
he's congenial. Mm-hmm. He talks to people. He's out there. He's gregarious and all that stuff. Bill's going to find a different way of being that since that's not who he is, but he has to find a different way to do that and have as much success recruiting. I mean, Mac Brown left on a 6-6 record. Yeah. It's not bad for a guy that quit and came back to coach because he's been to bowl games and he's been in the mix, Yeah, right. So this is going to be a very interesting experiment. That's what it is right now, experiment.
Right. And 234 Sports Talk says, I think because of his resume, the players there will give him respect. And I believe that.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen. Again, just, these new generation athletes, their mindset is a little different. So yeah. I think just as much as they're going to have to adjust, I think Belichick at 72, he's going to have to adjust too because he hadn't coached at the college level before. So this is going to be different territory for him as well. But we'll see. I ain't expecting
he can coach.
Yeah, he can coach. I ain't expecting him to bring no national championship in the next 2 or 3 years. But I think he's going to make the Tar Heels program a national program. I think.
Let me ask you
when you talk about football, that is.
Let me ask you this before we move on. How much of a factor in this decision for the school and for Bill did Deion Sanders play?
Oh. That's a good question. I think Coach Prime's success probably did play a big part on Bill saying, you know what? The hell to the NFL. Let me go down here to the college level.
Yeah.
And do something different. I think it played a big part in probably his decision to, try his hand at the college game.
Yeah.
So that's a good question, Mike. So speaking of college, let's move on to the big award that went down last night and to stick with Colorado. Travis Hunter, the all everything for Colorado. He won the 2024 Heisman Trophy. He got 552 of the first place votes, 2,231 points. Ashton Genty, the Boise State running back who played his high school ball at Frisco here in Texas. He was runner up with 309 first place votes, 2,017 points. They say this was the closest race since 2009 when I think it was Mark. Who was the running back?
Ingram?
Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram beat the other running back. I can't remember from Stanford. Toby Gebhardt. They said this was the closest record since that. So your thoughts, Mike? Did the voters vote for the right guy?
Yeah, they voted for the right guy because he's an avatar. He's a dinosaur, not a dinosaur. Whatever the other word is. But he's unique. That's to do it my way. He's unique.
Right.
No one has ever done what he has done. Now, a few plays they might have gone both ways, but he went both ways the whole time. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he's in the top 10 or top 15 in receptions for
Right.
in college in the Big 12, and it was such a refreshing move. I mean, college football is changing, all right,
Right.
and I'm glad the Heisman voters sought to be a part of that change in terms of not being afraid to vote for someone non-traditional. In a
Right.
non-traditional position. Because Ashton Genty, who, by the way, is up for the Earl Campbell Tyler Rose Award, he's going to get that. I promise
Yeah.
you.
Oh, obviously, yeah. He's
So
going to
he'll
get
be
that.
in town
Yeah.
in February, and we can all say, man, you just came along at the wrong time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I like this kid's heart, all that stuff. And you know what? And I mentioned in my show last night, when Deion stole him from Florida State, his alma mater, on the way to Colorado, he said this kid could win the Heisman. Now, that's Deion talking. So the critics came out and beat him up.
Of course they did.
Who comes to smelling like roses, right?
Right.
Who comes to smelling like roses? And so no, I think it's a great move. And again, it's just another change of college football. It's not the conventional way it used to be. Those days are about to be numbered. And I think for the better. You got to keep up with the times.
Right.
And you're going to see more and more experiments now for a player to go both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and 234 Sports Talk on TikTok says that boy different, Travis Hunter. He definitely is. He also says who plays both sides of the ball at that level. Nobody has done it at this place. I think he had like 1,200 and something snaps, which is first in FBS as far as playing. He played both sides of the ball. 92 receptions, 1,152 yards, 14 TDs, 12.5 yard average per catch.
Well, and here's the thing. He'll make an interception and turn around and make the touchdown catch on that possession.
Right.
How crazy is that at that level? We do it in the sandlot ball all the time. You're playing with the fellas in the park or whatever.
Right.
But at a high level like this, man.
Yeah, you can't beat it. He also go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
No, let me cut you off. But also, if nobody ever does it again, that makes it even better for him.
Right. And then too, we can't leave this from making two observations, two facts. First of all, he's a second defensive player to ever win this award. Charles Woodson did this first in 97, but he played both sides, but he didn't play as much on the offensive side as much as Travis Hunter.
Exactly.
So he didn't do it at the level that Travis Hunter did, and that's not taken away from what Charles Woodson done by no means. And second, he's the second Colorado Buffalo to win the Heisman. He comes 30 years after Rashaan Salam, the late running back from Colorado.
He was a bad boy.
Yeah, his NFL career didn't pan out like most thought it would, but and he tragically died in 2016. So Colorado, Colorado has their second Heisman Trophy winner. And oh, by the way, not only did he win the Heisman, he was named the AP Player of the Year. He won the Walter Camp National Player of the Year. He won the Chuck Bednarik Award, which is given to the best defensive player in the country. And he also won the Fred Biletnikoff Award that goes to the best wide receiver. But the one award he didn't win was the position he plays. He didn't win the Jim Thorpe Award.
How about that?
Wasn't even named a finalist. So that's a head scratcher.
So how legit is that award? I mean, we know Jim Thorpe and the people who won it are legit, but the people making that kind of decision, how legit are they? And could he have done this at Florida State? I don't think so. I agree. Think so. I agree.
I agree with you, Mike. I'm sorry, Tyrone Claus. My bad. All right, Tyrone. We down to the last part of the show. We down to hold on. Tyrone Claus disappeared on me. That was my bad. My bad, Tyrone. I ain't mean to do you like that, brother.
Well, I don't say ho ho ho. I say right on.
right on. We're down to our last segment. We call it our freestyle moment where we can talk about anything we want to get off our chest. Mike, what you want to get off your chest?
Well, you alluded to it earlier. The Longview High School football team lost a heartbreaker. And these two teams, South Lake Carroll, we all know about them, were evenly matched. I mean, each team had a chance to win. I mean, a couple of easy drop passes that could have gone to the house on the Longview side were dropped. And, the roughing the kicker, I don't know, you make a call like that,
I wasn't happy about that call.
For a
Come
20-17 victory for South Lake Carroll. And my thing is this, because I saw something like this, not quite, the stakes were not as high. 4 or 5 years ago, Tyler High lost to Highland Park on some bogus stuff. And I'm just convinced that when our East Texas teams at that level go to the Metroplex to play those teams of that level, you got to run the score up.
Oh, you just made a good point that I saw someone on a message board said.
You got to put some points on the board and make it no doubt whatsoever. Because if they get a shot to get in and the game is tied on a 3-pointer, and he missed that first one legitimately, and they called the rough of the kicker. It's like, oh, dude, he gets 5 more yards, he gonna make it now. That's as good as a timeout or icing somebody. So East Texas coaches, especially at that 5 and 6A, run up the score.
You got to do it.
Run up the score, because that's the only way you're gonna be able to win. Now, John King has won Champion State before, back in 2018, but I mean, for them to get through DeSoto, that was a shocker.
Right.
And they're like,
and the way they went through DeSoto,
they dominated. 50 points. They put 50 points on the board. Yeah. And that's what they're gonna have to do. You got to put some big points on the board to beat these city teams, man. But hats off to Coach King and his staff, and Boosie Washington, who scored. I think I read he scored 41 of the 44 touchdowns that Longview scored, or 34 touchdowns that Longview scored. 41 of them he scored out of 34. Wow.
That's crazy.
So he hasn't decided where he's going to go yet. He'll make that decision when the national signing day happens. But I gotta think, Arkansas, you had Fred Talley once. You can get the reincarnation of him right now. So go after him.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I just read where Arkansas had like 28 players in the transfer portal too. So
that's right. They got a new coach. Yeah, they lost the coach, right?
No, Pittman is still there, but from what I was, they lost a lot of players that entered the transfer portal, which we got to talk about.
They say the reason?
I don't know, but
I'll look that up.
Yeah, they gave Colorado hell last year when Deion, all them players entered the transfer portal, but it's been mighty quiet. And nobody said a whole lot about Arkansas.
I wonder if you transfer from a school and then a year later, like, you know what? I want to go back. I wonder if you can do that.
I bet you can't. I bet you can't. I bet you that the coach gonna say, son, no, this door is shut. You can't come back here. But we'll see. I wouldn't be the player to test that. If it was me, I wouldn't test it.
Right.
Right. My thoughts is, man, we got Christmas around the corner, and Netflix is in the sports business, and they're gonna be giving us the doubleheader on Christmas Day. My thoughts is they gotta make sure that they on point, because I know that Jake Paul and that Mike Tyson fight, we had some issues with the streaming. There was everybody trying to pop on, and we couldn't see the fight. It froze, and they didn't come back. So Netflix, y'all got 10 days. Make sure y'all on top of y'all game, because it's gonna be a lot of upset people.
Ain't nobody trying to be mad while trying to watch football. Ain't nobody trying to be mad watching football unless other than the outcome of the game. All right. But if there's technical issues, y'all shoot. You ain't got to worry about people sharing passwords and passcodes. They're gonna just desubscribe from Netflix.
Yeah, right. So that's my freestyle ball, because again, we got football coming up on Christmas Day. All right, Mike. Anything else? I know we got a couple of teams. We got Carthage, we got Kilgore. And Malakoff,
Carthage,
right?
Kilgore, Malakoff, and Woodville.
Okay.
So a year ago we had 4 teams go in. A year later we have 4 teams go in. Only one is the defending champ, and that is Malakoff.
Okay, so that is, again, it's East Texas football, Beast Texas as they call it. You can check out my man, KLTV sports director at the ABC affiliate in Tyler, Texas, Michael Coleman, who is actually Tyrone Claus today. Go check him out. Go check out his stories. He's one of the best to ever do it. He's one of my mentors that I look up to when it comes to doing this sports thing. I don't think I've ever told him that, but you are.
And for those of you who are subscribing, pass the word. what I like about what you do is like my guys in KC, you're homegrown, you're local. You know what's going on in your own backyard. You don't have to go through the ESPN pages and AP Wire and all that kind of stuff because you know, because this is what you do. You know, you and I talk sports all the time. We talk other stuff too, but you know, there are some folks that don't even talk sports, but they try to do sports, and they're cheating people who are trying to find a sports news source. You're not going to let the people down. You're not cheating. It's not like, you know, someone's twisting your arm to make you read sports because that's what you do.
Right.
You know, I mean, you and I talk sports we don't talk sports just behind the microphone. We're just talking in general, like we're in a barbershop.
Exactly.
So no, man, you keep it up. And for those of you, get the word out, word of mouth. Check out my man, Kay Henderson. He knows his stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate that, brother. And make sure y'all go to your app store, download that KOTV, KTRE Red Zone app. They're going to keep you up to date with all the players from this area, whether they play in college or in the pros and just other sports in general. All right, Mike. Tyrone Claus, I know you got to get on your sleigh and go make them deliveries here in the next couple of days. So, man, get your rest in, Tyrone, and be careful out there in them streets.
Oh, I don't do the sleigh. I do the Cadillac. I just cruise through. Right on.
All right, MC. We will see you on the other side, brother.
All right, baby.
All right. That was my good brother, Michael E. Coleman, a.k.a. Tyrone Claus today. I want to thank him for joining me and always being available. Again, this is the TFG Sports Media Show. You can catch me here every Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m., giving you your pregame look at the upcoming NFL games plus other sports news. And actually on TikTok, make sure you click that follow button on TikTok, share this live, tap that screen, and something I'm going to be doing starting in 2025. I'm going to start going live on Fridays only on TikTok, where we just going to talk sports. I'm going to call it Freestyle Fridays. Where we come in, we talk sports, whatever's on your mind. We're going to do that starting in 2025 on Friday. So make sure you follow me on TikTok. That is Kendrick Henderson 51. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to TFG Sports Media as well as Kendrick Sports Social. That's SportsHustle. You can like and follow them both on Facebook. You can follow my personal Facebook page at Kendrick Roland Henderson on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram at KDrick1969 as well. And if you want to contribute to the platform, you can hit my Cash App that's shown here on YouTube. It's $1969 Kendrick. Or if you're watching this live on YouTube, there's a little $ that you could contribute. You're not obligated. You can contribute if you want to help me continue to build the sports platform as well. So I just want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank all my viewers on TikTok. Much love to you. You guys enjoy the rest of your football Sunday. And we will see you back here 10:30 a.m. next Sunday. Well, what would that be? 3 days before Christmas. So we'll be talking a little bit of Christmas stuff. See what you got in you got stocking stuffers, what you got going on. So again, I am Kendrick the Sports Guy. You guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We will see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.